So hey guys, Justin here, and this is a $70 smartphone from Motorola, the Moto E4, and so today I wanted to check out whether this $70 smartphone sucks terribly, or whether it's an actual smartphone that you might want to consider when buying a device on a low budget. Anyways, let's get started. So looking around the Moto E4, first thing that pops out is that you really do get what you pay for. Around the phone is just plastic backing, and for $70, that's pretty typical, although it does seem pretty sturdy enough, and at least it isn't glossy. Moreover, you also get your standard headphone jack, micro SD card, and SIM card slots as well, which is pretty nice. But what you do get is a fingerprint scanner at the front of the device, which is definitely a cherry on top for me for a $70 smartphone. For $70, it's hard to find fingerprint scanners on a smartphone, and so the fingerprint scanner on the Moto E4 is fairly quick and accurate enough. But the scanner also doubles as a home, backwards, and also view recent tabs button with its Moto display gestures, which is something that I think is pretty cool, that are both actually on the Moto G5 and Moto Z2 Play. Now that's a paying for $70, and compared to some other budget devices, that's an A in my books. Display-wise, with a budget price of $70, a 720p display is the result, and honestly it isn't as bad as you might think. In addition, with screen real estate of 5 inches, photos and videos and movies still look somewhat sharp, although look close enough and you can definitely still see the pixels. Also, compared to some other budget devices I've seen, the colors on the display look decently punchy and vibrant, although nothing to boast about compared to the flagship standards. I mean, bring the E4 outside and you'll have to crank the brightness all the way up if you even want to see text on the screen. Now what I really like about the E4's display is that it contours on the edge, and in my opinion, I think the slightly rounded edge gives a bit of a more premium feel in the hand, and I think it just looks overall nicer than just a flat display with the frame protruding. I mean, for $70, don't get me wrong, the E4 screen isn't that bad all across the board, and while not great, for $70, it's acceptable. Okay, so jumping over into on-screen time, you'll probably most likely find yourself running around a regular day of usage, as with my case while testing. Now, while 2800 milliamps doesn't sound like the beefiest battery capacity, there's no doubt that the 720p display definitely helps to balance and render everything into a much more usable device in terms of battery life. So all in all, the Moto E4 will last you around a day of regular use, and unless you're playing some intense games on the device, you really should be fine to get through the whole day. So this one's a big one. What's the camera even like on a $70 smartphone? Well, I'll show you some photos so you can see for yourself. Surprisingly, for 8 megapixels, photos are fairly sharp, and while blacks are deep, overexposure tends to become a common occurrence in many of the photos. Of course, if you take the time to properly expose and focus on the photos actually turn out fairly decent. But in terms of low light, there's no going back on that. I mean, photos just look absolutely noisy and out of focus in darker situations. But as with proper lighting, the photos are pretty nice, and overall, photos on the Moto E4 aren't too shabby at all. I mean, they're perfect for taking the quick family photos or just sending snaps or quick posts to Instagram. In addition, autofocus is there when you need it, and for video recording, granted under proper lighting, it's acceptable with full 1080p resolution. But I mean, for $70, there's not too much to complain about, and the camera isn't all that bad, and definitely it gets the job done. Okay, so now we're down to the meat and potatoes of the actual Moto E4, the actual performance and how it runs while being used every day. The Moto E4 handles everything from sending text messages to emails to watching or browsing videos online without a sweat, and honestly it's very smooth and snappy for having a Snapdragon 425 processor. Plus, the 2 gigs of RAM allows for okay memory management, and having a cesspool of apps open isn't a problem at all. I've been using the Moto E4 for over a week now, and as a student, I can safely say I can't really foresee any issues or problems with this device. I mean, it handles everything that you need to do for school and work while even running some games. So hopping over into games, with our standard, Asphalt 8 gives you some pretty nice buttery smooth results on medium settings, and so with that, lighter games especially run well without any issues on the E4, no doubt about that. I mean, for regular people, this phone handles everything very well, and that's something that's overlooked on budget devices every year. Most of you guys send texts, emails, watch videos, and use Play Store apps, and that's nothing that the Moto E4 can't do. I mean, whether you're a student or you're looking for your 4th job, even with a few more flaws, the Moto E4 is a pretty reliable device, and it gets you from point A to point B. The E4 definitely gets whatever you need to do done, and yeah, this is definitely a smartphone to consider if you're looking for a brand new device on a super low budget, and for $70, the Moto E4 definitely doesn't suck. Anyways guys, that's about it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and of course leave a thumbs up or thumbs down, and let me know if you guys want to see more budget smartphone devices on the channel. Also, this hashtags is pretty fun to do, so comment down below moldy wheat flakes down below if you made it to this part of the video. But aside from that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.